Well, hello, everyone. It's great to be here with you again for another travel adventure. You know what we say, right, Shoshana? If we can't be there, if we can't go there, we at least can dream. So this is Joyce Davis, President and CEO of the World Affairs Council of Harrisburg, joined by my partner in travel crime, Shoshana Altricker. Welcome, Shoshana. How are you today?
Hi, Joyce. Yeah, it's great to be back.
It is. And so today we are also excited because we're going to be talking about three countries that I am so happy that I have visited. But we have an expert, Kristen Hutchinson, who's going to be joining us. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me tonight.
Okay, I'm going to actually let Shoshana do the formal introductions, but we're going to be traveling to South Africa, to Zimbabwe, and to Botswana. And let me tell you, this is a fabulous, you're in for a treat. But before we do, hang tight. Before we do, we want Shoshana to give us just an update. When can we travel again, Shoshana? When are you going to stop this madness?
Yeah, well, Joyce, 2 weeks ago, I actually got back from one of our first domestic trips that we've offered in a while. We always take a group to Washington, D.C. And so there was 18 of us who were in Washington, D.C., going to embassies, going to think tanks, meeting with journalists. And, you know, we all had a great time. We were all safe, wearing our masks, fully vaccinated. And, you know, it was a great trip. It was nice to be back out there, you know, even though, you know.
How many were on that trip?
18 of us.
Okay. And you were able to maintain with the masking and all of that worked fine.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah.
So what about, you were telling me just before we came on that there might be some good news for next year. So tell me about it.
Yeah, I think people are really ready to go out there. I'm seeing, you know, really strong sales, a lot of interest in 2022, including this trip we're going to talk about today, South Africa, that I think 2022 is the year that we are going to be back out there, that everyone is ready.
Everyone is definitely ready. Now, to be honest, we were ready, right, Kristen, in 2021. We were ready in 2020, but I hear what
yes, we were.
It looks like maybe things are working their way out. More people at least are getting vaccinated, right? Yeah. So that opens the door for a lot. So we can only hope, our dear friends out there, that please keep checking that website, checking our website, checking the Philadelphia Council's travel page, because that's where you'll get information and get updates about things. And Shoshana, I know, will be screaming around the world when it's time to really board those planes again. So good. So let's get down to the fun right now. Shoshana, I'm going to let you introduce Kristen and just lay out what this trip is about.
Yeah, I'm delighted to have my colleague, Vice President of Education, Kristen Hutchinson, join us tonight. Kristen took this trip, as you did, a few years ago, and it's always been a really popular program, has a really great combination of, you know, seeing the Big Five, seeing the game, but also have those political and substantive briefings that you're used to on a council tour.
Right. Well, that's it, because our travelers don't just go to see sights and everything. They go to learn. They go to really engage. So, Kristen, let's turn it over to you. I know I saw a little bit of your video, but you have something fabulous to show us. And I'm going to sit back and enjoy this. And then we can talk about my experiences later.
Yeah, thank you, Joyce. And thank you, Shoshana, for having me. Gosh, I have to pinch myself sometimes thinking about this trip and the experiences that I was so fortunate to have with our World Affairs Council travelers. In my role at the World Affairs Council, one of the pleasures of my job is getting to work with students and teach them about the world. And they often tell us when we ask them in their evaluations about what countries and parts of the world that they want to learn more about, Africa comes up all the time, right? Our students, our young people, they're just not exposed to Africa. They don't quite understand in a lot of cases how diverse it is. And so when I was able to go and actually come back and share my experiences of having traveled there, it's just made my work life and my honestly professional and personal lives so much more richer. And so I'm really excited to get to share a little bit with you guys.
Well, and you know, that point you made is worth emphasizing here before you get started, that people just don't realize what a fabulous travel travel adventure Africa represents. I mean,
Yes.
it's not roughing it in many cases in the least. So don't think that this is true luxury travel at its best, and learning adventure, but learning travel. So go ahead, Kristen, I'm ready.
Yeah, for sure. So as one does on a trip, you know, you take tons of photos, tons of videos, and I wanted to show my family just how beautiful Africa is and the places that we went and the experiences that we have. So I have a little bit of a video that I put together when I came back and wanted to show my family and friends about the trip, and honestly to educate them about how diverse Africa is and how rich it is in terms of the experiences that you can have. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Give me 1 second to get the video queued up. And give me a thumbs up to let me know that the sound is coming through, Joyce and Shoshana, once it gets rolling, okay?
Sure.
But I won't show the whole thing. I'll kind of like show it and stop, and because it's quite long. Okay, 1 second. Let's make sure my sound is on too for you guys. Yeah, sound. All right, here we go.
Here we go. Take off.
Africa.
Win, we bow, slowly, my 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 win, we bow, slowly. Homeless, 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 homeless.
Stable Mountain, fabulous excursion. Oh my goodness. So exciting, taking the cable car going up and then getting to look out and get up to the top. It's breathtaking. Driving through the Southern Cape for travelers. And the wildlife that is everywhere. Not just in the lodges, but everywhere, right? Excursion to the Cape of Good Hope. Always a good photo opportunity. Wild penguins at the Holder Penguin Colony. Who would have known? I definitely didn't know before I went.
Remember them. I remember them. That was exciting. Yes.
Oh, for sure. I'll give you guys a little more and then you can pause and chat and go through some other sections. I think I'm coming up to the excursion to Robben Island now. Yeah. Short ferry ride across to Robben Island. Our lecturer was a former political prisoner. Obviously, it adds to the discussion and depth of content. Getting to see Mandela's cell where he spent 18 years in prison. I was surprised how small it was. I know how tall Mandela was.
Exactly. It was small.
Yeah, for sure. Going through lodges and such. And then the wildlife. My goodness.
Lions, yes.
This was after a meal. They were arrested. Lovely photos of the wildlife. Unbelievable. Okay, I'll pause there as kind of part one.
Well, you've given us, I mean, first of all, the scenery that you can see, that Cape Town, I mean, that water was just gorgeous, just beautiful with the cliffs. But also, I mean, I was also taken aback when they brought us to see the penguin where they were. That was just so mesmerizing for me. I mean, part of what you really do see some spectacular wildlife shots, you know. Now, Kristen, let me ask you this. Did you hear a lion roar in the wild? I can't hear you. Go ahead. Undo. Yeah. Did you hear it?
Yes, of course, of course. Not only, you know, the craziest thing, because I think about it, I'm just like, oh my goodness, you know, we obviously, the big five, you think about the animals and you're like, am I really going to get to see a lion? Am I really going to get to see an elephant? Yes, you know, and it's just mind blowing how close you're able to get to these animals and see them interact in their natural environment is really quite shocking. And you know, the lodges and the rangers that are there and the guides that are there are experts in tracking. So one of the things that I thought was so cool was we would, for example, say to our rangers and our guides, you know, we would really love to see zebra today. We've been here for a couple of days and we haven't seen a zebra just yet. You know, could we see zebras? Is that possible? And they're experts in tracking. So they get down, they look at the different tracks, they know what to look for, and they follow for a little bit. And you're thinking, are they really going to find us some zebra? You know, and then out of the blue, you see a herd of beautiful zebra, and they show it to you and they explain just all of the different intricacies of these animals and how they live together. You know, and it's really unbelievable. It
really is, and I'll tell you what you're right about that. I was impressed too about how they really are expert trackers. They know what they're doing, and when they were tracking the lion, when we finally found this lion, and the anticipation of it, but then when I heard the lion, which must have been what 5 feet away or so. It is, Shoshana, it's a sound that it shakes the earth. It shakes your being. I even now, that is what I remember most. The roar of the lion, a real roar, not just Joyce, rah, but a real roar of a lion was so monumentally earth-shattering for me. So that and more is what awaits us. But continue with your pictures and then I might show one of mine.
Yeah, I'd love to. And I think I'll pick up with a little bit of video about, you know, how close we get to these animals on tour, our trackers, our guides.
And then when we come back, we do have to talk about Mandela's, about Robben Island and Mandela's, you know, cells. So we'll come back to that too. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, let's pick up with the video.
You had the same guy we did.
Oh, really? Coffee on safari to warm up your morning and wine in the afternoon.
Like having wine in the bush.
Right. Looking for tracks. And you mentioned, you know, the power of these creatures. And this was a video that I snapped of an elephant. And I couldn't believe how close we were. And the elephant was at first shaking the branches to get the fruit to come down and eat. Then I captured this little video.
Wow, look at that.
It was amazing.
Wow.
Just the strength. They do some damage.
Bad elephant. It's so pretty.
Yeah. We startled this buffalo.
Yeah.
All right, I'll pause there. Joyce, if we...
Yep, let me get us back. Okay.
Let me stop sharing.
Yep. Yeah, I'll tell you another story about the elephant. We were with another couple and he was in the Jeep, because people don't realize you're in these Jeeps but they're open air Jeeps. It's not like, for some reason, I thought this was going to be a van and everything was closed in. No, and he was like holding his cell phone to take the picture of the elephants behind him. But the elephant came right up to the Jeep. He came right up. And I mean, it was startling, but they said, you know, one of the things they say is just stay still. Don't do anything, right? Just don't make the move. So you really do have some fantastic encounters with nature. Yeah. Take off your microphones. I mean, unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it's such a special place, you know, going on these safaris and, yeah, getting so up close with nature.
Yeah. But Shoshana, what is also so nice, because we would do that, we'd stop and we'd picnic and they'd take out wine, well-chilled wine, and a little few hors d'oeuvres for us to eat along the way. I mean, that was really.
Yeah, like nothing beats the sundowners in the bush.
Exactly.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, what I loved too was we would go on safaris at different times of day to see the different animals that would come out, right? So you had like a morning safari, maybe 6 a.m., sometimes a little earlier. You know, some of us that wanted to get up that early got up. And you see the animals as they're waking, right? And then in the afternoon, right, there's a different set of animals that come out. And then at night, there's a completely different set of animals that come out. So it's so cool to see that dynamic too while you're out there.
Now, Kristen, did you do as my husband did? I didn't, because I'm a smart lady, right? I didn't do the walking safari, where they actually walk together in the bush, right? Did you do that?
I stuck to the safari trucks.
Shoshana, this is it. They actually went out. I mean, I guess it was about 6 of them or whatever that decided they were going to go out walking into the bush. And what was the first thing the guy told them? Stay behind the gun.
But Joyce, you know, you really didn't even have to necessarily do that. At some of the lodges, you could walk outside of your room and see warthogs, you know, different animals and wildlife. I mean, you're really in it, safe, but in it, you know, and you have to remind yourself that too, you know, you're literally in wild territory.
That's exactly right. It's their territory. And when I would walk back from dinner sometimes, I was wondering, you know, could I encounter a lion? You'd know. I think you'd know if a lion were coming. So, right.
That's why you have these, you know, experienced tracker guides with you too. That, I mean, they know every little sound, every little movement, that they're really able, you know, to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
We also, there were mostly men on the others, but I think it was in Botswana, where we were going on the waterways too. We had a female guide, and she was excellent. She knew the area, she knew the animals, and she had such a fount of knowledge. So I was just mesmerized by her as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Joyce, did you want to talk a little bit about Robben Island?
Let's talk about Robben Island. Let me see. I might even have a picture that I can share. But basically, what's so wonderful about being there is that you're getting a little bit of you're getting a little bit of the history, and it's a difficult history in many ways of South Africa. I mean, when you go across Robben Island, it's just beautiful on that. You took the ferry over, and the wind there's a lot of wind that's rushing, but it just braces you and you get out, and then you do this tour, and you really hear what it was like for Nelson Mandela to be for years and years and years, what more, you know, a decade or so in that prison, that cell. And one of the stories they would tell is that when he would go outside in the courtyard, there was just a little kind of scrawny tree that he would just go and sit by. Well, what they didn't realize is he was sitting by that tree, but he was writing, and he was hiding his manuscript under the tree. And somebody would come and get the pages, and they had a way of communicating with each other. And with the people who were sympathetic, who were even some of the guards, they had a way of communicating. They had their own network. So it was just moving. It was
Yeah.
moving to be there. I think it was moving for everyone who was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
of course, on the other side of things, that the tour ends in Johannesburg. You go to Soweto, and you stop at Nelson Mandela's home. So it's kind of like the tour comes full circle.
Yes. That's the picture that I had taken of his cell that he was in, And this is what's interesting. Are you guys able to see this? Are you guys able to see that?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, one of the things they were trying to point out to us is that depending upon your color classification, if you were classified as colored or as Black or Bantu, you see there, you were given different foods. And everything was classified by race there. This was a picture too of one of the churches there that was on the Robben Island. So I mean, and I also took the kids in Soweto were mesmerizing to me as well. But
they were.
We just got so much about what life was like for him in this environment, and and how he was able, how he was able to maintain his equilibrium and to come out of that experience basically a better person. I mean, it's truly a memorable experience to visit them.
Yeah, and I love the fact that the lecturers at Robben Island were all political prisoners.
Correct.
I mean, talk about being able to lend a depth of experience and knowledge to the conversation. It really was so moving and interesting to have political prisoners be the ones that were guiding the discussion.
Yep, absolutely right. So that's clearly, I mean, the highlights of the trip, to be able to visit that. And it's something you never, ever forget.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. One thing I thought was really interesting when, thinking about the animals and the wildlife is thinking about, and we had some lectures on this, right? Poaching, right? And
very good. Right.
Yeah, and the fact that it's such a problem that still persists today, right? And it's a problem that they're so willing to talk to us about, and the international aspects of poaching and how it happens and the problems, and it really makes you leave with a greater appreciation of these animals and why they should be protected as well. Absolutely.
There are, some of the elephants that they would come there, but that's what they shared with us as well, that, that it's still going on, and it's such a brutal thing. It's such a brutal thing to see these animals, just the elephants hunted down, and what happens to them. It's just, it's tragic. It's tragic. But I'm hoping they have a way that they're going to stop this. I mean, that they're really working again. Well, of course, they've already banned ivory, so that's one of the ways they can stop it. So yeah, for sure, for sure. Mm-hmm. I have a little bit more video to show. If you want to go back over. Give me 1 second to just dial back to where I was here. I saw the buffalo. Here we go, right here. All right, 1 second. Gotta get one look for you guys. All right. Talk about up close and personal. Look at the little baby. We saw one baby elephant in the pack that was kind of walking as if they were protecting him.
Wow, yeah, that would make sense, right? That makes complete sense. I think I have next maybe a little bit of Rovos, which we can talk about as well.
Rovos,
definitely a highlight of the trip.
Absolutely.
So I'll show a little video and then I'll pause because I don't have a ton of video and photo, and there's a reason why. Had to get a shot of Rohan. All right, I'll pause there for a second, and then maybe we can talk about Rovos for a second. So I don't have a lot of photos and videos of Rovos, and there's a reason why. Before we got on the train at Rovos, Rohan gave us this really fabulous lecture about the train, about the history. And one of the things he said was he's often asked by travelers why his train doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Oh,
And
goodness.
one of the things he said was, we don't have Wi-Fi. We never will have Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And the reason is because I want you, when you're on this train, to tune into the experience
Right.
and the conversation. And when you're riding through, look out the back lookout car. I want you to actually be focused on the train and the experience and not your devices. And so I don't have a lot of photos and videos.
Well, I think let me show you one that I have, because the Rovos Rail is really an experience. And you're right, they told us it was verboten. It was forbidden to actually have your devices out at certain points, not in the dining room, there was a rail car at the end where we were allowed to go and perhaps check email, but otherwise it is a no-no, because you're supposed to be decompressing here. But I have a picture of us. Let's see if I can share that. And from current slide, that is my husband and I at the closing dinner on the and the food here. I mean, it's beyond just gourmet. I want our viewers to understand that it's not just a great wine. It's you start off with a great aperitif, maybe one or two samples of aperitifs, and then you go into your hors d'oeuvres, a sampling of different spectacular. Then you go into perhaps your first white wine, and then you go into your red wine.
Joyce, I'm getting flashbacks, and oh my gosh.
It is truly that incredible that throughout the meal, you are sampling a multitude of wines, a multitude of cuisines, expertly prepared in an incredible environment. So I am just telling you, it is worth the adventure.
Oh, it is unbelievable. When I had brought my video, my photos back, and I was telling everyone about Rovos Rail, I mean, oh my goodness, the experience was unbelievable. The food was unbelievable. The wine, I was like, how can I get my hands on one of these wine menus? I want to bring it home so I can come home and go in my local supermarket to try to find these excellent wines that, like you said, Joyce, are expertly paired with the meals as well.
Expertly prepared. And again, the whole atmosphere is one of just relaxation. You're just decompressing. Yeah. You have pleasant people, smart, pleasant people around you. And actually, I took the opportunity during our rail travel during the trip to offer a few lectures, to have discussions. We had a discussion about what is it like in South Africa, racial reconciliation and all of that, which was truly, I mean, people were delighted to be able to have that kind of discussion on a trip. So. Yeah, Rovos Rail is, and I'm assuming Rovos Rail, I think, has been around for a while, but they maintain those trains expertly well. I mean, just.
Oh, for sure. And it harkens back, right, to a time that we all know about, that time of train travel, of, sitting in a dining car and having conversation. And, when the fact that they don't allow you to have your devices out, I think is such a game changer, because you really are able to tune in and slow down and just really experience this beautiful, form of travel that is, the slow form of travel of train travel is I just loved it. It was amazing.
It really is. Now, are you going to show them anything about Zimbabwe, about the Victoria Falls?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's in my next. All
right.
Yeah, let's see. It should be in this next clip, actually.
That's gorgeous. The falls.
Oh my gosh. And talk about bucket list, right? Like, I have to say one thing before, if it's in this little clip that I'll show you, never have I felt so okay with feeling so small than when I was at Victoria Falls.
That's a nice way to put it. That really is a nice way to put it.
That's what I tell everyone about that experience of being at Victoria Falls. All right, let's get back to the video. I think I have Victoria. Oh, here's Victoria Falls. Yeah. Amazing. power of the water. I mean, there's no photo or video that could really do it justice, you know? It's just unbelievable. It's incredible. I'll finish up with a little bit.
Oh, those are dangerous things.
I don't know if I have a photo.
Oh, wow.
That's great. That's good.
The natural interactions. Look at their play, you know. Gotta help them out. So cool. Seeing here. Back to Johannesburg. I tried to really get a little bit of the whole journey, you know, so that I could come back and relive it, you know. Fabulous.
His path was marked by the stars in the southern hemisphere, and he walked his days under Africa.
Lovely.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, first of all, I want to compliment you because the videos and you're putting together the music and all that really gives it the atmosphere, makes it just come alive, you know, with it. But, you know, that Victoria Falls, you're absolutely right. And one of the things people don't realize, you walk through this. This is like a park that's pretty extensive, and you can get different views of them at different places. And at one place we had to put on reindeer.
I was just gonna say the power of the spray.
Right.
It was almost like it was raining, Joyce. It
was blowing in, and you just had to deal with it. But it was so refreshing too. It was really, yeah. Basically it was at the falls where we picked up Robos Rail. We went there, we sat, and then we actually got on the train at that point and continued our journey. So do you have anything to share about the food other than on Robos Rail? But because
my goodness,
some wonderful restaurants there as well.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the food unparalleled, just unparalleled. You know, each meal, just the freshest of ingredients too. I think that's the one thing that I love the most, you know, ingredients that are locally sourced, really fresh, delicious. The wine, oh my goodness, unbelievable, just unbelievable. And, you know, I hope we don't have, I mean, if there's any vegetarians or vegans on our call, I apologize. But obviously the game meats, right, are something that's also incorporated in a lot of meals too. So I was very adventurous and trying.
You were adventurous with the, good for you. Good for you.
I definitely was.
That's really what travel is about. It's like, you know, really seeing how far you can go and how far you can learn and all of that. What, you know, I'll show you just how adventurous I was. You will not believe this picture. Let's see if I can share a photo with you. There you go. Would you believe that? That was actually in the, that one was in the airport. And so I thought, let's just look like we're taking a picture of a leopard, right? So do you know, did they tell you the difference between a leopard and what is it, cheetah?
Yeah.
What, you know what it is, Shoshana? Because I can't remember. I get confused now. It's something to do with the shape of the dots or something.
Right. Yeah.
The shape of the spots.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Today I wore my cheetah face mask to the office. I thought it was appropriate for our webinar today.
That's great. That's great. Now, the other thing, Shoshana, I forget what month. This was October, right? Is that the best time to go on this trip? Did you go in October, Kristen? Or?
What months did I go in? I thought I was in February.
Usually we offer it in February, March. But that's like a great time to go. That's when our trip will be in 2022. Okay. That you can, you know, see some of the big herds, great migration going through.
Sure.
And one thing I wanted to mention, that, you know, at the end of the Rovos Rail, usually it ends in Pretoria. So we take the group to the U.S. Embassy there in Pretoria, stop along the way. And that's always a highlight as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. These were just some of a few of the photos that I took. I showed you some of them. Yeah, isn't that
Oh my
precious?
gosh.
So precious. I just pulled together a few of them. There we are, having our wine in the bush, right?
Yep.
I love that
Living it
photo.
up. Living it
That's a
up.
great photo. Ah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Mine are not like yours though. With the you really get. But did you get a bird on the back of a gazelle?
I did not. But that, seeing those and on lions too, seeing like the
Yeah.
companion animals was something that was really cool. I'm glad you got this photo. This is amazing.
It's cute. I have so many. I just pulled out a few. I said I would show. And one of the things I realized is that people said, I thought, well, I don't need to take pictures. I'll just somebody else. I'll look. They said, no, you'll always want your own photos, and that is so true. You also, I took some videos, but not as many as you did. So this was the same group at one of the hotels, I think.
Yeah.
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 They were fabulous. I really enjoyed them.
They were. I forget if that was the one lodge that was completely female owned and female operated. There was one of them that was telling us that, in order to sort of give the local women more access to economic opportunities, it was completely female run, every aspect of the lodge, which was really cool.
Well, the other thing they told us when we would stop, especially on Robles Trail, we would get out and do some walking, and there would be women there with baskets and wonderful hand carved kind of wooden things. We bought a few of those, and they're saying that is a lucrative way for them to make money as well. So we were eager to buy. And of course, as you know, it wasn't expensive. You felt like you could make your money stretch,
Yeah. I think we stopped on Robos in a town and did that as well, Joyce. And they were so excited to have us stop and buy some of their wares, which was really
There's the pride of Africa, Robos Rail, our home away from home.
Oh, just so fantastic. So fantastic.
Well, this has been a delight. It really has been a delight. So Shoshana, do you think this trip is going to go in February? Wow.
Yeah, I really do. I have a nice small group so far. I have 10 people signed up, so there's plenty of space available. The max is 24 participants. But yeah, I feel,
going to happen.
I think people are, ready to get out there, that it's time. It's time.
It is definitely time. So if you want to learn about this trip, tell them where to go, Shoshana.
I will drop it in the chat here. Our website's wacfilla.org, and it's featured on our homepage. And I'll just drop in the trip there on the chat.
There you go. And for those who are watching us on Facebook, you can always go to the World Affairs Council of Harrisburg's travel page. We have it linked there, but the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia's travel page is where you will find a much more complete list of all these trips. And we just encourage you to check them out. We're all pretty stir crazy right about now. So
oh, yes.
I think there is going to be a mad dash for these trips when it's clear that things are, are opening up. Just before we go, what are the vaccination and all of that requirements, Shoshana? Can you share a little bit of that with us now?
Yeah, so as an organization, we're looking to have the policy that for anyone who comes in contact with our organization to be vaccinated. So that's definitely something that's in place for our travelers, that there be that vaccine requirement, and, just being responsible and respectful of, of each other, wearing your mask when you're asked to wear your mask. And, I think everyone can start traveling and have a wonderful time.
Yeah. Are any of the countries, any of them have their own requirements or restrictions?
Some do. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what it is for South Africa.
True, I guess.
But recently, South Africa actually is doing a pretty good job with getting their citizens vaccinated. That recently was a level 4 travel warning because of COVID, and it was recently reduced to a level 3. So,
wow, I think we're still at 4, right?
Yeah.
The U.S. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Kristen, listen, you have really brought us on an adventure. I want to compliment you on just your videos and everything that it showed. It was just a joy. It was really a joy to be with you. And I almost feel like I went with you to South Africa.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I was so adamant about taking the videos and photos and then putting them together, because I wanted to relive the journey. So thank you for giving me a chance to relive it tonight with you all.
Absolutely. And we've just relived it, but you still have a chance to live it. So make sure you check out the Facebook, well, the website, the Philadelphia travel website, and ours as well, if you want any information about the upcoming trip. So with that, I guess we'll see each other next week, next month, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
Is it
Next
Egypt
month?
coming up?
I think it's Egypt.
Egypt. Yep.
Egypt.
Yep.
That'll be another good one. That'll be
Yeah.
another good one. So, at least we're having fun, and if we can't travel, we can at least dream. So with that, I will say good night and have a great day. See you next month, Shoshana.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Kristen. Thanks, everyone.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
Bye-bye.